Hello and welcome to Stitching Journal Club episode 12. This is a channel about cross stitch and a little bit of science and hopefully a lot of fun. Today I have a tiny bit of stitching to talk about, and then I'll have some reflections on the past year in stitching and some plans / goals for the new year and some journal club as usual. First of all, I want to thank everyone for their comments about my needle stance dilemma. I think I just got myself into a feedback loop there. I had wanted to try something a little bit out of my comfort zone and maybe went a little too far. That is not to say that those colors are not pretty. They are, and I will enjoy using that floss in other projects. Just not for this particular one on that particular fabric. Also, I have seen some really beautiful low contrast designs before, and I still want to try one. I just need to wait for the right pattern to mosey on into my orbit before I try it again. Okay, so that said, let's get to the stitching. Okay, I had to change my shirt because I spilled some water on it, so just ignore that small detail. So I said in my last video that I was going to start 2 more patterns, but I ended up only working on one because once I started it, I couldn't put it down. It is called Attavyrian Star and Vine from Attavyrian Folk Embroidery, and this is what I have so far. I bought it as soon as it was released because it's another one of those patterns that just made me go, wow, and I needed to have it. I knew I wanted to change the colors, but I wasn't sure what. I thought that the main motif would look really good in gold, but I was not about to stitch all that metallic. No, never. But I ended up buying this bundle of Cosmo Floss, and in the bundle was this color, 773, and this is the goldiest gold that I've ever come across that's not a metallic floss. It's just that perfect old gold, antique gold color in floss form. It's absolutely beautiful. So I knew I had my gold color as soon as I saw that floss. And so the accent color is this DMC 943. And it is the most unusual aquamarine color. I haven't seen another color like it in DMC or anywhere else. And I knew I had my accent color. So in skein form, these don't look like they'll go together, right? Just in the skein by themselves. But against this fabric and in the design, yep. There it goes. It just works. Like, it just works. The fabric is platinum. It's an even weave called platinum. And it's just perfect. The perfect fabric for the perfect floss. So this is definitely a new favorite combination of mine. I will be using it in future projects. Maybe if I end up doing the Modern Folk Embroidery 2023 stitch along, I think that would look good in that project as well. If I pull a trigger on that one, I might not. So yeah, that is my stitching. This is Attavyrian Star and Vine from Attavyrian Folk Embroidery. All right, so my stitching year in review. This section is pretty much only an excuse to bring out Heart Sampler again. Oh my gosh, I love this project so much. It's still not framed yet because I can't decide on a frame. I go online looking at different possibilities and I just can't choose one, so that's okay. I bring this chart out periodically just to look at it. I love it so much. Oh man, Let me just look at it again. Ugh. Ah. Okay. Yeah, I'm gonna have to restitch this in a couple years, in a year or two. Just because it was just such a joy to stitch on. Even though I made mistakes and it's not perfect, I love it. Yeah. But also, this project, Heart Sampler, does represent a lot of what my stitching year 2022 was all about. The first thing was it represents just how much I improved in my stitching, from this first corner all the way to the end there. My stitching style, the way I stitch, how I stitch, it changed so much. And that's all contained in this one project. It also represents me finding my stitching style, both in terms of what techniques I like, as well as terms of just what types of projects I like to stitch on. It takes a lot of looking at other projects and let me rephrase that. In all sorts of creative endeavors, it takes time to figure out your own style. It takes looking at just a variety of different types of projects, different styles, different techniques to figure out what you like. And over the course of stitching this, I've come to learn, like, it always changes, of course. It can always change. Nobody is perfectly static, but I've learned the kinds of things that I like to stitch. I'm very grateful for Etsy and Instagram and Reddit as places where I can look at cross stitch of all sorts and be able to synthesize all that and say, you know, this is what I like. And this project represents me starting Flosstube. I was smack dab in the middle of stitching this when I started Flosstube, like, oh, was it 6 months ago now? Wow. And it's been a wild ride, but I'm so grateful for every one of you that comments, every one of you that watches my videos, who gives me thumbs up. You've made my world just a little bit brighter, and I hope I do the same for you. So for 2023, I have some general plans, nothing too specific. I will think of these as sort of more intentions rather than set in stone goals. So in no particular order, I have 2 large patterns that I have been wanting to color convert for a while now. I know generally in my head how I want them to look, but I just need to sit down with some fabric and floss and make it happen. I want to at least get those choices made and kitted up in the next near future. I won't be telling you what it is. That's a surprise. So keep an eye out for what those projects are going to be. Next is smalls. This is a perpetual goal of mine. There are so many super cute small patterns that I have and I would be delighted to do, but I just keep pushing them aside for bigger projects. So this I will have to be more specific about. Maybe do 1 small a month, just to get through my backlog a little bit. I will need to figure that out before the new year. And also, just putting it out there, what do you consider a small? 100 by 100, 50 by 50, 20 by 20? Let me know what you consider a small. I think for me, a small is something that's less than 100 by 100, but maybe that's too big to consider it a small. Yeah, let me know what you think. My other goal is finishes. Now, I haven't been too fussed about finishing things, and I recently realized it's because I'm not sure how I want my stitches to end up being displayed in my apartment. I don't really want a bunch of framed cross stitches on the wall, behind glass or not behind glass, whatever. First of all, I rent and I really can't have too many things hanging up on the wall. But also, I think that would be too heavy. I think that would feel a little bit too heavy to have a bunch of frames on the wall. I don't know. So I have been studying different ways of finishing things, and I have some ideas, so I plan to try some of them out in the new year. So way back in May, I bought a set of CXC floss from a seller in Canada, and I have not used them. They're still in their nice pink bags. And so in the new year, I want to do at least one, maybe at least two projects with CXC floss to see how I like them. Just in the wrapper, I have no complaints. They look really nice. They're nice and soft, so I'm going to try these out. What else? Let's see. I wrote these down. Oh, so as far as Flosstube, I want to try different kinds of videos. These talking head videos are really fun, but I want to expand a little bit. Maybe try some Stitch with Me's. Maybe do a kitting up video. Want to try music and different effects, just play with those, just have a little bit more fun with making videos. And in a similar vein, I now have a blog. There's nothing on it yet, so I won't give you the link, but there will be very soon. I plan to put up more detailed posts about what I'm stitching on and use it as a place to better track progress of my projects. I chose to start a blog instead of beefing up my Instagram page. And this has nothing to do with the people on Instagram. It's just as an app, Instagram is rather unpleasant to use for me, both on my phone and on the website. It's just, I don't see what I want to see, and it keeps showing me the same things over and over again. It's just unpleasant. So I decided to start a blog to share some of my things there. I also plan to use the blog to share some creative endeavors that I don't necessarily want to make videos of. I have a lot of hobbies, mainly paper crafting, but that have lapsed for one reason or another. And I'm feeling the itch to pick them up again. You can see some of my projects that I'm most proud of on this channel that I uploaded years and years ago, and the blog will have similar stuff to that. All right, that's enough nattering on to Journal Club. So every year, Science Magazine highlights its science breakthrough of the year. This year's breakthrough is the Webb Space Telescope. I've already talked about it though, so I won't choose it again. But if you haven't already, check out some of the images that the telescope has sent back to Earth. It's just amazing. Astronomers are learning so much about the universe, and us non-astronomers, space enthusiasts, get absolutely amazing new photos. So please check them out. What I will highlight though is a cool but weird discovery from earlier in the year. And I remember reading about this, but for some reason I thought I read about it last year. What is time? But earlier this year, researchers discovered a bacteria and named it Thiomargarita magnifica. So what is so special about this? Well, it's huge. It's roughly 5,000 times the size of a normal bacterium and can be seen with the naked eye, I think. But what's also unusual about this particular microbe is that it has several internal compartments, including some that corral its genome into little sacs throughout the bacterial cell. This is quite significant because bacteria don't have internal compartments usually. They're just like one big membrane of goo for the most part. And researchers think that this bacteria may look similar to earlier forms of life and the transition from single cell to multicellular life way back in the primordial soup. So yeah, nature is amazing, and we should all be grateful for it. That is it for today's video. I wish everyone peace, rest, and renewal, and we'll see you in 2023.